Samsung is making a bold bet that Apple's decisions will help its Galaxy phones stand out, and the stakes couldn't be higher. With the Galaxy S25 launch just around the corner, Samsung isn't relying solely on innovation to gain an edge. Instead, it's hoping Apple will raise prices for its iPhone 17 series, making Galaxy phones look like a better value by comparison. It's a risky move, but one that could shift the narrative in Samsung's favor. Before we dive into the details, take a moment to join our membership. Link in the description for more exclusive insights like this. The strategy is rooted in an interesting observation shared by a senior researcher at Samsung Securities Research Center. During a recent guest lecture, the researcher remarked that Samsung was surprised when Apple didn't raise the prices for its iPhone 16 lineup. According to them, Samsung had anticipated a price increase, and they're now expecting this to happen with the iPhone 17 series. If Apple raises its prices, Samsung's own premium pricing might look more reasonable by comparison, giving it an edge in a fiercely competitive market. But this approach also underscores the challenges Samsung faces in its rivalry with Apple. The Galaxy S24 lineup was already more expensive than Apple's iPhone 16 series, making it harder for Samsung to convince buyers that its devices offer better value. To make matters worse, Qualcomm is reportedly planning to raise the price of its upcoming Snapdragon 8 Elite 2 processor significantly. This increase will further drive up production costs for Samsung, making it even more difficult to keep its phones competitively priced. Samsung's options are limited. It could lean more heavily on its in-house Exynos processors, but perfecting yields to match the quality of Qualcomm's chips is a costly and time-consuming process. Alternatively, the company could switch to MediaTek chipsets or use lower-quality displays and cameras to cut costs. However, such compromises could alienate loyal customers who have come to expect cutting-edge performance and premium build quality from Galaxy phones. The situation becomes even more complex when you consider Samsung's pricing strategy for future devices. Even if the Galaxy S26 lineup is priced similarly to the S25, it may still end up being more expensive than rival devices unless competitors also raise their prices. Samsung's bet on Apple raising iPhone 17 prices is critical to its strategy, but even that might not close the price gap entirely. One key factor driving Samsung's higher cost is its commitment to packing more advanced specs into its phones. For example, the Galaxy S25 is expected to reintroduce a 16GB RAM option. While this is great news for power users, it also makes the device more expensive to produce. Combine that with larger batteries, high-end displays, and sophisticated camera systems, and it's clear why Galaxy phones often come with a higher price tag. At the same time, Apple's streamlined supply chain gives it a significant advantage. By manufacturing key components in-house, Apple can control production costs more effectively than Samsung, which relies on third-party suppliers for many of its parts. This difference in approach means Apple can offer competitive prices while maintaining healthy profit margins, leaving Samsung struggling to achieve the same balance. Even if Apple's iPhone 17 prices do rise, they might still fall short of the premium pricing Samsung has to adopt for its Galaxy lineup. This leaves Samsung in a tough spot. Should it continue pushing for top-tier innovation at the risk of alienating budget-conscious buyers? Or should it scale back on features to focus on more cost-effective solutions? It's a dilemma that could shape the future of Samsung's smartphone business. The competitive landscape becomes even more challenging when you consider the growing price gap between the two brands. Samsung is betting on Apple to shift the market dynamic, but what happens if that doesn't pan out as expected? If the iPhone 17 series remains affordable compared to Galaxy phones, Samsung could lose further ground, especially among consumers who are sensitive to pricing. As we await the launch of the Galaxy S25, all eyes are on Apple's next move. Will the price hike for the iPhone 17 series give Samsung the competitive edge it's hoping for? Or will rising production costs and the pursuit of premium features make Galaxy phones even less accessible to average buyers? One thing is certain, the next chapter in the Samsung-Apple rivalry will be critical for both companies. Thanks for sticking around. If you're intrigued by the strategies and challenges shaping the tech industry, consider joining our membership. Link in the description. It's your chance to gain access to exclusive insights, in-depth tech analysis, and more. Let's explore the ever-evolving world of technology together. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video. The smartphone industry is constantly evolving, with each new year bringing us flagship devices that push the boundaries of technology and design. In this video, we'll be taking a close look at the two biggest names in the smartphone world right now: Apple's iPhone 16 Pro Max and Samsung's Galaxy S24 Ultra. Both phones are powerhouses in their own right, but how do they stack up against each other? Let's dive into the battle of the bigs. Design and size. As expected, Apple's iPhone 16 Pro Max doesn't deviate much from its predecessor when it comes to design. The rectangular shape, soft corners, flat sides, and dynamic island pill-shaped cutout remain. This year, however, the screen has grown from 6.7 inches to a massive 6.9 inches, making it the largest display ever on an iPhone. Its bezels are even thinner, but the overall dimensions have changed slightly, measuring 163 millimeters by 77.6 millimeters. In comparison, the Galaxy S24 Ultra is slightly smaller at 162.3 millimeters in height, but a bit wider at 79 millimeters, making it easier to handle for users who love to use the S Pen for sketching or taking notes. Speaking of the S Pen, Samsung once again offers the stylus nestled into the bottom of the Galaxy S24 Ultra. It's a feature that remains unique to Samsung in the flagship market, and one that many users either love or ignore completely. The precision of the S Pen, developed in partnership with Wacom, is something to be admired, making it a fantastic tool for creative tasks. Apple, on the other hand, introduces some new tricks with its buttons. The Action button, which debuted in the iPhone 15 Pro series, returns, offering customizable functions for launching apps or activating Siri shortcuts. But the real star of the show is the new Camera Control button. This physical key, equipped with a capacitive surface, allows users to control the camera with a swipe, much like a traditional camera shutter button, enhancing the photography experience. Both phones come in sleek color options. The iPhone 16 Pro Max offers titanium finishes in white, black, natural, and the new Desert Titanium. Meanwhile, Samsung gives users a broader selection with titanium violet, yellow, black, and gray, and 3 exclusive colors if you order directly from Samsung's website. Display differences. When it comes to display, both phones boast impressive technology. The iPhone 16 Pro Max features a 6.9-inch OLED panel with a 120Hz refresh rate and an always-on display that can drop its refresh rate to just 1 Hz, keeping your wallpaper or photos visible even when the phone is asleep. Samsung's Galaxy S24 Ultra comes equipped with its signature AMOLED screen, also featuring a 120Hz refresh rate and an always-on display. However, Samsung has a slight edge here with its anti-reflective coating, which makes the screen much easier to see outdoors. In contrast, the iPhone struggles with reflections in bright sunlight despite its high brightness. Color accuracy is another area where the two phones differ slightly. The iPhone's display leans towards a yellowish hue, while the Galaxy has a bit of a teal tint. But with both phones offering blue light filters and adaptive color calibration, these differences are minimal in day-to-day use. One new feature for the iPhone 16 Pro Max is its ability to drop to an incredibly low 1-nit brightness level, making it easier on the eyes in dark environments. Samsung's display already hovers around this level, so both phones are excellent for nighttime use. Performance and software. Under the hood, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is powered by Apple's latest A18 Pro chip, built on a second-gen 3nm process by TSMC. This cutting-edge chip brings significant improvements in performance and efficiency, particularly when it comes to handling heavy tasks like gaming and AI-driven processes. Apple has also focused on better heat dissipation, addressing the overheating issues that plagued the A17 Pro chip. The Galaxy S24 Ultra, on the other hand, is powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, specifically tuned for Samsung devices. While both chips are incredibly powerful, benchmarks show that Apple's A18 Pro takes the lead in CPU performance. However, in 3D graphics tests, the Galaxy S24 Ultra isn't far behind, offering stellar gaming performance. Both Apple and Samsung are pushing into the realm of AI, with dedicated NPU cores to handle AI tasks. The iPhone 16 Pro Max comes with Apple Intelligence, which will roll out new features gradually, while the Galaxy S24 Ultra already boasts AI-powered features like live translation, generative image editing, and transcript summaries. As for software, the iPhone runs iOS, which has seen some welcome changes this year, bringing it closer to the flexibility of Android. You can now place app icons anywhere on the home screen and even customize their colors. But if customization is what you're after, Samsung's One UI still reigns supreme with features like split-screen multitasking, themes, and more. Samsung has also stepped up its software update game, promising 7 years of updates for the Galaxy S24 Ultra, compared to Apple's 5-year commitment for the iPhone. Camera capabilities. Apple has made some significant upgrades to the cameras on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, particularly the ultra-wide camera, which now features a 48-megapixel sensor. The main camera remains at 48 megapixel, and the 5x telephoto camera comes with a 12-megapixel sensor. A new lens coating helps reduce the lens flare issue that has been prevalent in recent iPhone models, especially during night shots. Samsung, as always, is pushing the envelope with its camera hardware. The Galaxy S24 Ultra boasts a hopping 200 megapixel main camera, alongside a 12 megapixel ultra wide, a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto, and a 50 megapixel 5x zoom camera. While the megapixel count might seem impressive, the real magic happens in post processing. Both phones have excellent cameras, but Samsung has a slight edge in zoom performance, while the iPhone tends to oversharpen fine details like leaves or grass. In low light conditions, both phones perform admirably, but the iPhone's new lens coating helps reduce the flare and artifacts that can appear in night photos. Samsung, on the other hand, continues to struggle slightly with oversaturated greens in its images, but this is only noticeable when directly comparing photos side by side. Battery and charging. When it comes to battery life, both phones pack a punch. The iPhone 16 Pro Max has a 4,685 mAh battery, while the Galaxy S24 Ultra comes with a slightly larger 5,000 mAh battery. However, Samsung takes the lead in charging speeds, offering 45-watt wired charging compared to the iPhone's 20-watt. For wireless charging, Apple's MagSafe offers 25-watt, while Samsung's wireless charging maxes out at 15-watt. Conclusion. So, which phone is the better choice? It's a tough call. The iPhone 16 Pro Max impresses with its sleek design, powerful A18 Pro chip, and improved cameras, while the Galaxy S24 Ultra excels with its S Pen, higher megapixel count, and faster charging speeds. Ultimately, it comes down to personal preference and whether you're more entrenched in Apple's ecosystem or Samsung's Android world. Either way, you're getting a top-tier smartphone that won't disappoint. What do you think about it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Until then, take care. Goodbye.